Actually, that's not bad. I'll just leave it with this midnight version of Second Life. Anyway, so the question there, we were talking about hierarchy and various other ways of talking about, I guess, categories and organizing information. And so here we've got, I'll just say PTS product at the center. Anyway, that's kind of like the node that we're really focused on here. And there's a set of category structures in showing three, and then there's sort of a ghostly one that's four. The JBA Heiler version of this category structure has four levels, and that first level for them in the four levels is those 11 categories that show up both on the website, the way the website arranges itself, as well also the way the paper catalogs are literally printed with those 11 categories as the main structures, right? It's like, I'm sorry, the main sections of the book. Anyway, so those are those categories, and those are the kind that say, oh, this is a dog. I mean, oh, not a dog, or not a horse. It's a hammer. It's a, um, well, cutting tools. See, cutting tools is kind of a higher level thing, which we could say, well, we're not saying this is a dog, it's a mammal, right? I want to buy a mammal as a pet for my kids. Um, and then up at the top, we've got, like animal versus vegetable versus mineral, right? But, really it's a hammer. I want to buy, 25 hammers for the shop, or I want to buy a set of wrench, um, hex wrenches. I want to buy a work box or work um, cabinet, right, to keep all my tools in. So basically, that's a category structure. Then most of these other data kinds of focus around the edge here are characteristics. So we'll say functionality. What does it do? Okay, that's where we get into cutting tools or things that move other things or things that are containers or protection. That's a function of various tools. The structure gets into things like materials and so on, but also importantly for like the warehouse, this is where you get weight and the dimensions, height, width, and depth, and that um, kind of physical dimension, structural, which matters on the shipping side for sure, and matters even when you're going to install it in your shop. But we talk about, are they power tools, and or do they do measurements? Are they measurement tools? What kind of characteristics do they have? The famous one is hazard. Is it a hazardous material? And so on. And here down at the bottom is the special one, which is just stands for various relationships between the products. So it's like this machine actually needs certain lubrication in order to function. So there's a strong relationship between the lubricants and those machines, right, that require that other product. Then we got really over on the side here more about the people and organizations that are related to this item, this SKU, this sellable thing that we're going to portray in the website, on the catalogs and so on. But who is the buyer? Who got us involved with this, and who are the, we'll say, vendors? Actually, the manufacturer, because we really care about the manufacturer's original part number, which actually is one of these identifiers. If we look up at the top of the picture, there can actually be multiple identifiers and multiple different types of identifiers for literally the same item. Well, we should really say the same type of item, because this type of item is what we're going to show on the, again, catalog website in order to sell the physical hammers. Right, yeah, so this is all over information representation of things like hammers and carbide tips and, you know, lathes, other, you know, grinding machines, et cetera, that whole universe of tool type products. But the thing is, any one of these characteristics, including, you know, all those different ways of talking about the functionality, any one of those actually can be part of or set up an entire hierarchy. So we have this one set of categories, which is kind of a mixed group of things anyway, and that they're trying to form a rigid 4-level hierarchy, and that's a limited thing and something that we'll definitely want to have, you know, like specific conversations about how all that is going to work, and if it's even something that needs to be cleaned up or that we need to worry about in migrating from, you know, one set of, we'll say, operating systems to another, etc. Okay, so just thought I'd sort of throw those words back into the conversation.